Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Four and Fuel podcast. It is season 2 time. It's February, and February means NASCAR racing, and that means we're back to talk about it all. And before we get too far along, I want to welcome the rookie to the show, the one and only Sam Dooley. Sam, how is it going, man?
It's going pretty well. I'm glad I'm finally getting my rookie stripes ripped off here. So hopefully it's a good show.
Yeah, we were looking in the off season. We felt like 3 was good, but it's the Four and Fuel podcast, so we had to have that fourth guy on the team. And after our hard research and looking into some prospects, he seemed to be the youngest, the brightest. The one that we could keep for a long time, not worrying about retiring on us.
Honestly, I think we just pulled a guy off the streets. But...
You hang around the Xbox party long enough, eventually you'll get in the podcast, right?
Now, we want to talk about some veterans now. We got Steve Ray and Wesley Riddle. Steve, welcome back, man.
Thanks. Yeah, it's kind of weird hearing a veteran now, considering that last year is kind of my rookie season. I'd never been on a podcast before, so now getting some experience under the belt and still not knowing what to say, so I'm gonna keep rambling on. But we're back. I'm so excited to bring back season 2. This was a lot of fun last year. Now to get to do it for a full season now, it's just going to be even better. I think this season is going to be even better. We're going to get some more guests on, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Now we see there's a new background behind you, so little move in the off season.
Yep, little move in the off season. I think on our season 1 finale, the awards show, which is up on our YouTube channel now. Kind of got a preview of it. Still have the Chase Elliott championship flag in the background because always got to represent Chase Elliott Nation here. But yeah, I still got some other stuff. I got a couple Jeff Gordon things I got to put up because you always got to represent Jeff Gordon. Down here, eventually I'll get my Dale Earnhardt poster up. So just a couple things put up. But tonight just had to bust out the old John Hunter Nemechek shirts from Nemco days to pay a tribute to Nemco because they're not coming back. But just had to put it out there.
Rest in peace.
And now, before we get to Wes, I wanted to mention that Sam over here is our he's another Penske guy. No, I wouldn't say all Penske. I know he likes Blaney. I know Logano's his number 1 guy, but we also got some Bubba Wallace a little bit. He roots for Bubba Wallace too, so we'll get some of that 2311 information. I'm also kind of a Bubba Wallace fan now, driving for Denny Hamlin. And then you got Wes, who really, I think Blaney's his guy, but he definitely got his handful of guys. No Boyer on the track this year, Wes. I know that's got to be disappointing.
No Boyer on the track, unfortunately, but I've still got Blaney. I've been a Bubba fan for a long time. Definitely a season I'm looking forward to now that there's a little bit of change. And man, it was a crazy off season in terms of some of the NASCAR news, but now with the season turning around and the new season for the podcast, I think we've got a bright future ahead, especially this year. So I'm definitely looking forward to being back. I'm glad to have Sam on for, I guess, the debut in the first episode of season 2. Glad to see Steven representing that John Hunter Nemechek jacket. Unfortunately, he won't be in the Cup Series this year, but he will be back in the Truck Series. And then Dom's got his Hamlin shirt. Hamlin might be going for his first championship if he can get it. We're going to be, I guess, talking a little bit about that today, just because we're going to give a little bit of a briefing for what our season looks like.
It's funny, Wes is breaking out the jokes already.
Oh, man, we haven't even made it 10 minutes into the first episode, and we are already getting the Denny Hamlin slander.
Hey,
you're gonna get a full season of it, Dom.
Hopefully.
Only Hamlin fans would call it a Daytona 500 championship. because you don't have an actual championship, so you got to call it something.
You know what?
I say Joey Logano is the Daytona 500 winner.
I mean, the title is the Daytona 500 champion. It's just how it is. And we'll talk about the 500 more in depth at the end of the podcast. And before you continue watching, make sure you go over to Twitter and follow our new page at Forward Field Podcast. You're going to see all our updates on there. Any news that we come out with will be released on that Twitter page at Forward Field Podcast. Make sure you go follow us there. And at the beginning or at some time, you're going to see our Twitters too if you want to follow us for our personal takes and everything. So without further ado, I think we're going to jump into our season previews. We each filled out the schedule and our playoff brackets for our preseason preview. We went through each race and picked the race winner for each race, and then picked they filled out the whole playoff bracket where we started with 16 down to 12 to 8, and then finally our championship 4 and a champion. So we're going to go one by one, explaining, we're not going to tell you who wins every race. Obviously, we're just going to kind of summarize it, keep it generalized for you guys so you don't get too bored. Obviously, you don't care who we pick to win the second Atlanta race. That's just how it is. If there's some marquee races, obviously we can bring that up. But I'm gonna take the lead here since nobody asked how I was doing today. I'm gonna take the lead here, and I'm gonna break down my whole schedule for you guys. Now, we're not gonna say our Daytona 500 picks because we're saving those for the end, and those go towards our pick standings that I won last year. So I'm gonna defend that championship again this year, expecting at least 10 wins, at least.
Yeah, only championship that you got, right, Dom?
Yeah, well, we're working on it. But first off, I'm going to say it right now. I think the driver with the most wins this year is going to be your defending champion, Chase Elliott. He's going to win 7 races this year. And no, he's not winning all 7 road courses. He's not winning all 7 of them. I think he does win the Daytona road course. I think he goes, back to Martinsville and wins again in the spring. He wins the first race at Coda, and then his road course streak comes to an end at Sonoma. I think that's, we were talking before the show. I think Steve even mentioned Sonoma's his worst road course. Mm-hmm. I think that one you got to give to Martin Truex Jr. He's just shown so much dominance there. It seems like no one can beat him. And Chase Elliott is going to have 4 wins in the regular season. And then he's going to go on a roll towards the end. He'll sweep Martinsville. He'll get that Charlotte Roval win. I don't see anyone touching him there unless you get like an Allmendinger or something. But I don't think they're even allowed to race by then. But I could be wrong. And then right behind him, bounce back season, Martin Truex Jr. He's winning 6 races this year. He's going to go on a tear. Once he wins that first race this year, I think there's no looking back, and Martin Truex Jr. is going to ride that all the way to Phoenix. He's not going to win Phoenix because that's honestly one of his worst tracks, but I think he takes it to a championship 4 appearance. Kevin Harvick's not going to do what he did last year. It's going to be hard to win 9 races again and do what he did last year, is whoop it on the field. I think Harvick's going to win 5 times this year, and that includes a championship 4 appearance. I don't think he's going to do what he did last year. They're going to be pretty motivated to come back. I think Harvick, it's either going to be championship or bust this year. He's either going to go all the way or he's going to fall off a cliff after what happened last year. Then you look at Kyle Busch, another bounce back year. This is kind of optimistic from me. I think he wins 4 races, but I would not be surprised at all to see him win 1 again. You got Ben Beshore coming on up atop the pit box. You move Adam Stevens over to Christopher Bell. It's not going to be easy for Kyle Busch. You're running the same package you ran last year. You're not getting the practice time you need. This is pretty optimistic for me, saying he's going to win 4 times. And then you got Denny Hamlin. I think he settles back down to 3 wins. Keselowski, 3 wins. I got Bell with a couple wins. So get his first career win at the Bristol Dirt Race, I think he'll beat Larson in the Bristol Dirt Race, but watch out for drivers like Bubba Wallace, Chase Briscoe. I think those guys are going to be contenders. And, you got another handful. I think Ryan Blaney is your – I don't see anything different from Ryan Blaney this year than last year. I think he's out after the round of 16. Those tracks just proved so brutal for him in the first round, Darlington, Richmond, and Bristol. I think that's the end of him. And – yeah, other than that, you got to, Chase Briscoe will get his first win. I think he'll win the Brickyard. Byron will win a race, and I think Kyle Larson wins at Homestead. So, other than that, I think I'm going to hand this over to Steve and see what he's got going on this year.
Yeah, I was pretty similar in a couple of picks. I definitely think the comeback driver of the year is going to be Martin Truex Jr. Only getting that one win last year, but I have him back for 7 wins this year. The first 2 coming at Martinsville and Richmond in the spring. Like Dom said, once he gets on a roll, he just keeps going. And we saw that towards the end of last year. He was so consistent towards, once the summer months came around and into the playoffs, he was so close to getting back to the championship 4. I have him winning the Coca-Cola 600. He's already won that a couple times, all the way down. I actually have him winning the first 2 playoff races at Darlington and Richmond. So having Martin Truex Jr. sweep Richmond, winning the fall Martinsville race to lock his spot into the championship 4. I don't have him winning the championship. My championship pick's coming up in a minute here, but I have Team Penske winning a good chunk of races this year. Logano, I feel like, is going to kind of get back to what we've seen in recent years and have Logano win a couple races. He's always a threat at Talladega, so I have him winning the Talladega race. Coda, I wasn't really sure with these new racetracks coming up with the Bristol Dirt Race in Coda and Nashville. I wasn't sure kind of what we were going to expect from that. So I have actually Logano dethroning Chase Elliott on the road courses at Coda. And then at Nashville, the new one, I think it's so hard because it's been a long time since NASCAR's raced at Nashville. But I have Kyle Busch winning at Nashville. I know our good buddy Dalton Good is going to like to hear that one.
Yeah, I think I also have Kyle Busch there.
Yeah, I think he's just, he's good at Dover. It's a concrete track. He's good at Dover, good at Bristol, kind of those concrete tracks. And he's won at Nashville before when we saw him smash that guitar. Granted, that was about like 10 years ago, over 10 years ago. So
Yeah.
who knows what we're going to see. But, I actually, I have a couple first-time winners coming up this year too. At Road America, again, one of those tracks is like the Cup Series hasn't raced there before, so there's really nothing to go off of. So I kind of thought, what has Road America done in the past? And it's always been a fuel strategy thing. And I have Chase Briscoe actually winning that one. Wasn't always the best in the Xfinity Series on the road courses, but who knows? Fuel mileage is kind of threw a name out there. And then another first-time winner, I have Tyler Reddick winning the regular season finale at Daytona. Kind of like we saw with William Byron, which it's surprising. Reddick showed some speed outside of Daytona and Talladega last year, but I don't think it's going to happen for him until the regular season finale, which would put him into the playoffs. So I have him there. I have Chase Elliott winning 1, 2, 3 races. Only 3 races this year. But I have him winning the Daytona road course because that's, he was so good there last year. And I think it's going to continue and win that one. But then I don't have his next win until the Charlotte Roval in the playoffs. He's going to go on a long dry spell. But consistency pays off. And I see him pointing his way into the championship 4. So as far as that, Kevin Harvick sprinkled in, winning a handful of races. I think I have him down for probably 6 wins. Kyle Larson I have down for Phoenix, and then 2 weeks later at the Bristol Dirt Race, when Larson was out of the Cup car, most of last season, he just went dirt racing, was just winning and winning and winning. And Cup cars are obviously nowhere near close to sprint cars, but it's going to be a fun race between Larson and Christopher Bell for that one. So coming down to the playoffs, I with Darlington and Richmond in the first round, really struggling. Ryan Blaney, those are his 2 worst tracks, but I actually have him winning at Bristol, the Bristol night race, to put him into the round of 12. I have Matt DiBenedetto winning at Talladega, getting his first career win, even though he's not going to be in the 21 in 2022. But then it picks, when it comes down to Phoenix, my final 4, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick, and Martin Truex Jr., some of the 4 most consistent guys. When it comes down to Phoenix, it's Chase Elliott's track. Kevin Harvick, everybody says that Phoenix is Kevin Harvick's track, but really in the last couple of years, ever since the change to Ford for Stewart-Haas Racing, Kevin Harvick really hasn't been that good at Phoenix. So, but Chase Elliott has really stepped up his game. Phoenix is one of his best tracks. So I see Chase Elliott getting back-to-back championships for 2021 and probably putting up a second flag in the room here. So.
Yeah, well, we have a
bias, absolute bias. That's unbelievable.
Well, since I didn't get to mention my championship 4, but I got Truex, Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick, and Brad Keselowski advancing to the championship 4. But I going against Steve, and I'm saying Kevin Harvick's going to take back that dominance at Phoenix, and he's going to win the championship. I don't think you can base off of, the Phoenix race in 2020 for Harvick. Obviously, that race didn't matter for them at all. So, they probably didn't even put too much effort into that race. So I think Kevin Harvick will be your champion this year. It's kind of crazy to think he only has 1 championship. And honestly, if Jeff Gordon makes it to Homestead, he wouldn't have a championship. That's just insane to think how dominant Harvick's been, and he only has 1 championship. So we're going to move on to Wes's picks. Wes, what's happening in 2021 for you?
Man,
no Clint Boyer this year, though.
What's that, Steve?
No Clint Boyer this year.
No Boyer, so I can't pick Boyer to win the championship or a single race. But hey, maybe in the iRacing, the 10-race iRacing league, he'll pull off a victory at Talladega.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing.
We'll see. No, but for me, it's an interesting year for sure. I'm looking over here to my right because this is where I have my picks, but I wanted to start off first by mentioning some of the guys that have the newer teams this year. I think that we could expect pretty good performances for them, and that being Daniel Suarez, BJ McLeod, and Bubba Wallace. They're all brand new, of course, teams starting up, each one on a different team. But I wouldn't expect. Of course, BJ's team is going to be in a little bit bigger of a hole just because of their financial backing. It's not really up to par in comparison to the other two, but I think they'll do good for what they have. I don't think Bubba Wallace or Daniel Suarez will get a win, but I think that what they have is going to start off maybe slow and then work their way into having a pretty good season. And I did kind of get convinced earlier. I put Bubba. I think he might make it into the round of 16. I think that 16th spot is going to be really tough this year because the competition, I feel like, is going to be a lot steeper. And I think the battle across the entire field is going to be a little bit more even. And I think we might see some good drivers that we saw last year not make it. And I'll actually mention a couple now. I actually do not have Eric Almirola making it. I also do not have William Byron making it. I feel like it's going to be hard for, especially like Stewart-Haas and Hendrick, kind of with the changes that they've had recently, to get all 4 of their guys into the championship. And I feel like that it's going to have an impact on one of those drivers for each of those 2 big teams. So for those reasons, I thought that Byron, he's just kind of, in comparison, I feel like Larson's kind of been the bigger face. Johnson leaving and Bowman taking the ride, that kind of is a big step forward for Bowman. So I feel like Byron's kind of been the forgotten face of Hendrick. Same kind of with Almirola, unfortunately. Custer winning that race last year kind of boosted him. I don't have him in the round of 16, but I do think that he'll have a solid year too, maybe even better than Almirola. So we'll have to see. But that's kind of my take there around the 16th bubble. In terms of some of the new winners, I think I actually do have quite a bit of new first-time winners, and this could be interesting. I've got Tyler Reddick. I think he can win at Homestead, and based off the performance he had there last year, I really think if he can continue this like momentum that it carried from the previous season without practice, I think he can definitely get a victory.
He just needs to make sure he gets to the checkered. He needs to make sure he doesn't slow down coming through the white.
Stop a lap before.
Stop.
We're still going. It's still green. Go.
Go! It's the last lap, dog!
I'm going to try to use the NASCAR heat, wall riding.
Right. Yeah, you can't do that. Thank goodness he didn't do that from the lead because that would not have been good. But I do think Reddick might get his first victory this year. I've also got Michael McDowell surprisingly winning a race, and I've got that at Road America. I have that because Michael McDowell started quite a bit of series or races in the Nationwide and Xfinity Series driving for top-tier teams and performed arguably the best out of any of the drivers that ever competed on Road America's track. He also competed back in the Star Mazda Series before he was even a NASCAR driver and won, I think, maybe 2 or 3 times there. So out of all the drivers that are going to Road America, I actually think Michael McDowell, I'd say he's got the most experience. And also last year was a very, very solid season for him. So I think it's that year where we're going to see an upset winner because we really haven't had a solid upset winner since Justin Haley. And I think that there's a good chance that this could be a year where we see another. So Michael McDowell, I think, might get his first victory. I've also got Christopher Bell. I think he's definitely going to win at New Hampshire. New Hampshire's his best track by far. He's shown dominance there in every single series he's ever been in, every time he's been on the track. And now that he's got the 20 car, I think that's definitely a step in the right direction compared to last year.
And the fact that he doesn't have Chris Gale as a crew chief really helps too.
See, he's gotta take care of his stuff more though. That's what I learned watching him last year. Was like he would be up there and then all of a sudden he wouldn't be, and you'd be like, what happened? He either got wrecked, or he ran his tires into the ground or something. So that's one of those like rookie mistakes that you make. So he's got to learn from those and really get going in the right direction. But I can see him doing well with that 22.
For sure. I think part of it too was the fact just not having the practice. Now that he's had a full season under his belt, he's getting a step up from a team, and he's also been a driver that's dominated in other series alongside Reddick. I think those two can definitely have bright years. I think both of them, even if they don't win, I think they're going to make the championship, or not the championship 4, but at least the top 16 and have a chance to race for a championship just because they've definitely improved in their departments. And I also think Chase Briscoe can win. I've got him winning the second Vegas race. I think that he's shown good speed at Vegas, and I think that after he works his way into the car this year, I think that he's going to be a good face for the 14 car. It's going to be interesting kind of seeing how the playoffs work. I've got a couple guys, like I mentioned, Michael McDowell winning the race, Bubba Wallace sneaking his way in, Briscoe. I don't really think they're going to get too far, but I'll skip to my championship 4. My picks, I'll save a lot of my winning picks for other races a little bit later in the season for our podcast, just because they're interesting. Some of them are interesting. But I know for my championship 4, I've got Brad Keselowski, I've got Chase Elliott, I've got Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch. It's kind of a different chemistry there. It's actually one driver from each different team. I feel like we're going to see, I think I'd mentioned it before, but just a lot of different drivers competing up front for the win. But also I think the teams itself, it's going to be a lot more competitive this year. And my championship winning pick right now, I've actually got Brad Keselowski. I feel like Kevin Harvick's definitely due for a championship win. I think Chase Elliott definitely could win too. I just don't see, especially for Chase's situation, it's going to be hard to compare the run that he had last year, or at least in the 2020 season, just to be able to go out there and dominate the way he did. And I think Brad Keselowski is definitely overdue. Every year, Brad Keselowski seems like he's the most consistent driver. And from the beginning of the year to the end, even though he doesn't really always make it to the championship race, but I think this is the year where he can get it done. He ran really well at Phoenix this year. I think he finished second. So he's my championship winning pick, and I'm definitely looking forward to the season because it could produce, I think, a lot of different first time winners, but also just a lot of different winners in general.
All right. You heard Wes's picks. He's all over the board, and now we got one guy left to make his picks. Sam, what are you going to bring to the table here, rookie?
Well, going back to what Wes just said, the change in the schedule with all the road courses and having Bristol dirt and things like that'll definitely, he's right, that'll cause a lot of first time winners, a lot of new winners this year. But in terms of highlights, I actually have Denny Hamlin winning 8 races this year. I'm thinking he's going to stay on the hot streak that he was on last year and just tear through. I got him winning Homestead. And he goes a little while. Got him on Dover, Sonoma. I know you're talking about how Truex has been balling at Sonoma, but I think that same stable with Denny Hamlin. I think
he's got to
really
make
get
up for
that
that
one.
2016 race.
Yeah.
Tony Stewart drove him in the wall.
Then I got him at New Hampshire. Denny's just real good at New Hampshire. I see him winning. Well, I'll save my playoff races for a minute, but so that's what, 4 in the regular season for Hamlin that I got, or 5 maybe. I don't know how to count. I failed basic arithmetic. Then I got Kevin Harvick with 7 wins this year. Harvick, I got him winning Las Vegas. He's just Las Vegas, and then he wins Phoenix, back-to-back races right there at the beginning of the season, a good start. Goes a little while. Well, one of those wins is actually the All-Star race, so I mean, not a points-paying race, but I can see him pulling it out at Texas. I see him winning the second Pocono race. Those are just regular season ones. 5 wins for Truex. I think Truex. I'm with you guys on Truex having a bounce back year this year. He wins Martinsville. Just he's real good short track racer. I see him winning the Coke 600. I got him at Nashville, just because you don't really know what's going to happen at Nashville. They haven't raced there in a while, but Martin's real good at short tracks. I equate Nashville a lot. I know you said concrete, so it's kind of towards Dover, but I've looked at it, and it kind of looks to me at least like a Richmond type. So I feel like if it's Richmond type, then Martin Truex Jr. is going to do pretty well there. Chase Elliott, I have 4 wins. I got him with, of course, the Daytona road course. I got him winning at Coda, just because, road course. I got him winning at the Glen. Those are as I look at this, I'm realizing that I did only pick him for road courses. He can win ones where he only turns left too, but he's just so good at turning left and right. It's just crazy. A couple of interesting ones. I got Larson winning 2 this year, or actually 3. Gotta update that. But Larson, I've got him. He's probably the overall favorite at Bristol, so I've got him down for Bristol. I could see Briscoe coming through with that one too, just because a couple of dirt guys, you don't really know. I got Larson winning at Kansas and Michigan, 2 tracks where you can rock the high line and it's the fastest way around. And Kyle Larson, he likes running the high line. So then I got Briscoe with 2 wins. I got him at Darlington.
That's bold.
Just because of the way that you saw him drive it last year in the Xfinity Series, held off Kyle Busch. That was one of his statement wins of last year. And I got him in Atlanta in the first Atlanta race. So
2 tough two of the toughest tracks on the schedule.
Yeah.
And Chase Briscoe getting them both in his rookie year. I honestly, I can't even tell you when the last time a rookie won at Darlington.
Probably
I
the
don't know.
first race at Darlington.
I feel it coming. I don't know why. I just feel like he's gonna find two somewhere in there, one or two, definitely, because he's such a good driver. I don't know if it'll be those two, because like you said, those are the hardest tracks, two of the hardest tracks on the schedule. But I mean, we'll see with that. But I got 13 different winners on my schedule, and my round of 16. So the three that one highlight is the before I go into my 16 is one of them that gets in is Matt DiBenedetto winning the last race of the regular season. I know Steve was talking about Christopher Bell. Did you say? That's who he had. Just somebody that you don't really see winning anywhere else. But, it's Daytona. It's that one last wild card. Everyone's going hard to try and get it. So DiBenedetto, I see him sneaking in there. On points, I'm seeing Alex Bowman, Ross Chastain, which I don't know. That's one that I didn't see much of. So I'm thinking he's going to be able to just be consistent in his first year in that ride, the 42 car, and then Eric Almirola. Those are your three extras. Kurt Busch, I see getting in. I see him winning at Indianapolis just because. I've
Apparently, he's got to win one race somewhere. So every year, so
yeah, it might as well be an Indy. Yeah. On to my championship 4. Nothing really that strange. It's Harvick, Hamlin, Truex, and Elliott. It's pretty typical championship 4. I do see Kyle Busch bouncing back after an atrocious 2020. I see him getting to the round of 8. Kyle Larson, I see him getting to the round of 8. Keselowski, Logano, but Harvick, Hamlin, Truex, and Elliott. And then going into that final race, I think it's going to be a good race. I think it's going to be a close race. But inevitably it's going to come down to Harvick or Elliott because those are the two best at Phoenix that are in the series right now. And I have Harvick as my champion. So
we got 2 for Harvick, and then 1 for Chase Elliott, and 1 for Brad Keselowski. Everyone picked Harvick and Chase Elliott to make the championship 4. 3 of us picked Martin Truex Jr. to make the championship 4. And then we had some 1 picks like Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch. So that's our 2021 season preview and our picks. Now we're going to move and jump into the Daytona 500 and talk about the 500 for a little bit to end the show today.
Plate racing, baby. It's my specialty.
Well, it's not plates anymore. Come on, this is tapered spacers.
Excuse me, tapered spacers. My bad. I'm living in the past right now. I don't know what to tell you.
Let's be technical now. It's tapered spacer racing.
It's all right. It's all right. He's a rookie.
Excuse me.
Rookie mistakes. But
I don't know if we can have you on for the second episode now.
that may be it right there. That's the beginning and the end. You've just witnessed the alpha and
career
the
ended
omega of
before
my
it could've started.
podcast career.
So we're right now, as of this recording, there are 44 drivers entered for the Daytona 500. 36 are locked in via charter, and then there are 8 open cars that need to qualify or race their way in. Those 8 cars are Kaz Grala in the 16 for Kaulig Racing, Austin Cindric in the 33 for Penske, David Reagan in the 36 for Front Row, Ryan Preece in the 37 for JTG Doherty. You got Chad Fincham in the 49 for MBM Motorsports, the 62 of Noah Gragson in for Beard Oil Motorsports, Timmy Hill in the 66 for MBM Motorsports, and Ty Dillon in the 96 for Gaunt Brothers Racing. So those 8 need to, 2 of them are going to qualify in on Tuesday night via qualifying, or Wednesday night, my bad, for qualifying. then the other two are going to be the highest finishers in each dual race. It's the first time in a while we're going to have a lot of cars, a decent amount of cars going home from the Daytona 500, not just one or two guys. Steve, right now, if you're looking at it, what four do you think are looking good to make it into the Daytona 500?
Well, I think we have to look at some of the obvious ones. I think we're looking at Austin Cindric. That's going to be a fourth Penske car, which are always fast at Daytona. And especially if he can get into a duel with a Penske car, they're going to be helping Austin Cindric a lot. So I think, we can put Cindric down for a lock. I think I actually see Kaz Grala making his way in. If it's not on speed, I can see him racing his way in. Noah Gragson is another one. The 62 car might not get in on speed, but if he pairs up a lot of Chevrolets, if he has some 100 guys with him in his duel, he can make his way in. And my dark horse is going to be iRacing legend Timmy Hill. I think he can get in too. So this is fun though. It's fun seeing, not fun seeing guys go home, but it's nice seeing a big field trying to race their way into the Daytona 500. It reminds me of the early 2000s where we had like 55 cars show up for a 43 car field. So yeah, I think as long as guys have some affiliates within their duels, I think they'll be just fine.
I think the Daytona 500 this year is going to be one like no other. I think we know what the type of pack racing we're going to get. It's going to be crazy. The finish is obviously going to be insane. This could be one of the best Daytona 500s, ever. The last couple have been really good and really exciting. So I don't see why this year would be any different. They're going to have 30,000 fans at the track, which is, I think, the most since they started letting fans back. I know they allowed up to 30,000 for the All-Star race, but only there's only 24,000 I think that went, something around there. So I think it's going to be a great race, and I think we don't really have to talk about it too much. I think we all know who's good at the plates, the super speedways today. You got Denny Hamlin going for a three-peat, which would be the first time ever in NASCAR history for someone to win the Daytona 500 3 times in a row. You've obviously got your Penske guys. They're always going to have fast cars. They might not make the smartest moves, but they'll have the cars to run up front. And then you've got the Hendrick cars. They're going to be fast in qualifying. I think that's where you find the pole sitter. Would not be surprised if Kyle Larson was to win the pole. And then you've got other guys. The Toyotas usually work well together. And that's how they usually win these races, is when they have a group of them, still up there at the end of the race. And, I mean, if you want to look at a dark horse, you look at, like an Eric Jones. Maybe Eric Jones can, bring back, jumpstart his career again and with a win in the Daytona 500 in that famous 43 car, because we know he's probably not going to be too competitive everywhere else other than the super speedways. And he's been one of the best. He's been there at the finish for most of these races. And, last year, if it wasn't for getting, just completely obliterated by Ryan Blaney coming to the checker to Talladega, we could have been talking about Eric Jones in the round of 8 last year. Maybe he keeps his ride in the 20. We don't know. But look out for Eric Jones. I think looking at the time, I think it's time to make our Daytona 500 picks. And I think we'll let the rookie start this time. I think we'll work our way around. So, Sam, who is winning the Daytona 500 in 2021?
I'm just blessed and honored that I got to lead this off.
Yeah, rookie.
Batting in the one hole, trying to save my job. Ryan Blaney is going to win your Daytona 500. He was right there last year. The near tragic ending to that. He almost won that race. I just see with all the Penske speed that they have every year consistently coming to super speedways, I can just see Ryan Blaney wheeling his way to the front of this one.
Ryan Blaney, you heard it there. Can Ryan Blaney get his first Daytona 500? We'll find out. Wes, who's winning the Daytona 500?
I think Blaney's a good pick. He's been up front for almost every single 500 he's been in, but I actually went another fellow Penske driver, and it's not Ryan Blaney, and it's not Joey Logano either. I went Brad Keselowski. I think Brad Keselowski, he's been up front too in a lot of restrictor plate races. He's won a lot at Talladega, and I know he's been really hungry to win Daytona 500. He's been so close so many different times, and now that Penske is going to have a fourth guy in the field, I think Austin Cindric's definitely going to make the 500. I actually think Austin Cindric might get the pole for the 500, but I think having that fifth or the fourth car is going to help their team, especially in the race. I think they're going to strategize well because they always seem to put themselves in good positions to be able to get a good finish. And I think that Brad Keselowski might be the guy this year to finally get it done. And I think he's deserving of it too. He's been close and a driver that I feel like has won almost everywhere else except here. So I think this is definitely going to be it might be the time for him to get the victory. So Brad Keselowski's my pick.
And how many bad blocks he's going to throw if he's going to win the race.
He better throw one if he wants to win. It's there's only so many times he's going to be out in front, and
yeah, hopefully he doesn't drive all the way through turn 4 under the yellow line. When that's against the rules.
Yeah, we can't. We don't want none of that.
Avoiding wrecks.
So let's hope that Brad Keselowski can get it done.
It never happened.
He's the pick.
Happened.
Now, I don't even think we got to go to Steve. We know he's picking Chase Elliott to win the 500.
Mine's actually pretty different. Well, if we're talking about the road course, but we'll get there. But no, I actually am sticking with the Penske guys. However, it's not Ryan Blaney. And it's also not Brad Keselowski. I'm going Joey Logano on this one. Joey Logano, easily one of the most underrated plate racers.
Underrated? Whoa, wait.
Yeah.
That's all they talk about is Joey Logano when they go to the super speedways.
No, he is he's not the most underrated, but he is a severely underrated plate racer.
What makes what's not severely underrated is him causing wrecks to super speedways by blocking.
Well, let's not forget. I don't know how many years in a row I went to Talladega. I think it was 3 in a row. He won the fall race every single year.
These are two different tracks. Like Talladega is a lot different than Daytona.
That 166 of a mile is really killing his speed at Daytona, right?
I mean, look at it. Denny Hamlin seems to do better at Daytona than he does at Talladega.
It's because Denny Hamlin's garbage.
Well, Denny Hamlin's the best super speedway driver in the field right now, and
that's okay. That's a hot take.
That's not even a hot take.
Someone put the cloud emoji over this guy. He's showing his bias already.
Denny Hamlin was the only driver last year to finish top 5 in every super speedway race.
Yeah, because
congratulations,
like 3/4 of the field wrecked
because
out.
He's smart. He's smart. He doesn't put himself in stupid situations to get himself in wrecks.
He enjoys just staying under that yellow line because he knows he's not going to get penalized.
I don't even know why we race for 200 laps. And if he's smart and he's just going to race at the back, let's just have a green-white checkered and let's just have a 2-lap race.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's just he plays it smart. He's there at the end. Every time there's a finish, Denny Hamlin is in that front pack at the finish.
Ain't gonna be this year though, because Joey Logano is gonna win the Daytona 500.
Yeah, Joey Logano might block Hamlin into the grass and wreck him. Yeah, that might happen.
I mean, if there was someone that Joey Logano had to wreck, I'd probably put Denny Hamlin up there and in the top 5 of who I'd prefer for him to wreck. Well, not my race winner Ryan Blaney though. I got to get my first pick right.
All right, Dom. Let's hear your trash pick now.
Well, I think this guy was leading the Daytona 500 with 20 laps to go last year, and it seemed to, jumpstart. This moment jump-started our good friend Dalton Goods, Twitter profile, got him a bunch of followers, a bunch of likes on that post of Kyle Busch giving Joey Logano the bird as Kyle Busch was blowing up on the outside, and Logano would not pass him and just kept pushing him while he was about to blow up. But Kyle Busch's luck has got to change. I think it's this year or he's never going to win the Daytona 500. It's going to be one of those cases. He's got to win it sometime, and he keeps putting himself in good spots. And I think this year's finally the year. And if he wins the Daytona 500, look out. Kyle Busch is going to be a madman this year. I think a 500 win could honestly translate to domination again from Rowdy Nation. So there's all our picks. 3 Penske drivers and a Gibbs driver. And we're probably all going to be wrong.
Surprised no one picked a Hendrick driver.
Yeah, they just, I don't know. Well, I think
It's something about Daytona 500 and Hendrick cars in recent memory.
Post 2020 or 2010.
I'm just saying, sleeper pick, Kaz Grala. He's gonna race his way in. He's gonna be up there. He's gonna be up there. He's gonna be like Trevor Bayne.
Yeah,
Trevor Bayne getting his first win.
I don't know about this tomfoolery.
But
But also remember, whoever picks worse, whoever's finishes in the back gets that free Chase Elliott pick for the Daytona road course. So is it a strategic call? Do I think Kyle Busch is just going to finish 38th and I get that Chase Elliott pick to get a win on the board at the road course? I don't know. Hopefully not. Hopefully Kyle Busch gets the win for me and I can jump out to that 1-0 lead over everybody. But, other than that, I think we're going to wrap this one up. I think this is a heck of a start to the season. Season 2, episode 1. We're going to be back next week talking about the Daytona 500 and everything that went down in speed weeks. And we're going to preview the Daytona road course. We're going to bring back the same crew, hopefully, as long as nobody screws up. The rookie over there saying some silly things, but I think we'll give him another shot next week for the Daytona road course. That's Steve, Wes, Sam. I'm Dom. We'll see you guys next time for episode 2, season 2.